and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review with a bit of a twist. So yes, we are going to be looking at Bombtech, the brand. There it is, and their wedges, which potentially could be an absolute bargain for you guys who are just starting golf, or anyone who wants to play golf on a budget, even if you're a good player, but you're fed up of spending 150, 160 pounds, $150, $160, just on one wedge. This could be the brand for you. So we're going to obviously look at that, but we're also going to discuss the idea of that 72-degree wedge. Should there be in people's bags an ultra lob wedge? Should we be playing it, as your average golfers? Should we be having these in the bag, or should we just be sticking with our 60, which is sort of the max sort of degrees that your average player will be going for? There's a question that we're going to look at and we're going to answer in this video because, personally for me, who is an 8 handicap, do I want to have a 72-degree club in the bag? I'm losing a club space, and it also gives you the idea, well, hold on, if you are a better player, can you not just open up the 60-degree and get the same sort of shot, which you can? But then if you're a high handicapper watching this, or someone, who's only just got into golf, might not be able to play that shot. So therefore, should you then potentially be putting this type of club in the bag to help you get out of those bunkers and to get the ball launching really high and then just dying on the green? And we are going to discuss that throughout this video because, believe me, this thing is an absolute spoon. I mean, there you go. That is 72 degrees loft for you. If I just compare it to my 60-degree wedge, nearly dropped it. Try and get them leveled up. You can see there, look at that. Absolute spoon. Absolute spoon of a wedge. But yeah, so we're going to discuss that throughout the video. However, as with all reviews, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at this club, come back here, talk about the technology that I found on the web about it. Not a huge amount. I'm not going to lie, Bombtech aren't exactly very clear of how they produce everything, which is fair enough. They are a budget line, let's be honest. And then obviously we'll come back here. Well, no, sorry, we will not. We'll go for the technology. Then we're going to get down to the course, actually. I'm going to show you some shots out of some bunkers, some chip shots around the green, and also an attempt to get over a lake, which didn't end very well. So I'm not surprised by it, to be fair. I don't even know why I attempted to do it. But anyway, and then we're going to come back here for the ACS Golf Scale, and I'll let you know my overall thoughts about the idea of playing one of these ultra lob wedges. All right, guys, now let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go, a closer look at the club, and it's not a bad looking thing, to be fair. I mean, the finish obviously, being this black, has worn off quite quickly. I'm not too sure about the green grooves personally myself, but I guess that is their coloured theme throughout. Don't know what the shaft is, have no clue. And the grip's a known brand, to be fair. Bombtech grip, it's not a bad grip, and there's not a bad weight to it as well, to be fair. You have that in the bag and it just looks like any, well, not a 72-degree one anyway, but just looks like any other wedge. So there you go. Now going into the technology of what I've been able to find about this wedge. Number one, it is 72 degrees, as we've just discussed. Its lie is 64 degrees. It is cast from 304 stainless steel. The bounce on it is 6. You can't change the bounce, by the way, whenever you're buying one of these Bombtech clubs. The bounce is the bounce. That's one way they keep it cheap. And the grind as well, it's the same. Unlike, all these other big brands, you can get all these weird and wonderful mixes nowadays. The head weight is 308 grams. I mean, you can feel that it is a heavy weighted club. Swing weight D5. There you go. Shaft step steel. It's steel and it's stepped. Who knows what the shaft is? But to be fair, it doesn't feel whippy. I have used this and it felt pretty firm, and I was happy with it, to be fair. Sometimes when you get cheap clubs and you try the shafts, you just it's just all over the place. But I'm generally quite happy with that, to be fair. Wedge length standard 35 1.25 inches, and then the grind is heel and toe grind. So there you go. But again, it is standard. And then some of the tech that I managed to find from it, premium quality at a fraction of the price. So no retail, no pros means you get more for your money. Complete set, so you can get 3 sets of wedges if you don't want to get the Ultra 72 wedge, or you can go for the Ultra line. We get 66 and a 72. So basically you've got 52, 56, 60, 66 and a 72 available. You can't buy the wedges separate. That's what I found. You either get a set of 52, 56, 60, or you get the set of 66, 72. Not the end of the world when you consider the price, which I'll be telling you guys at the end of this video. So they're built for maximum forgiveness, so heavier weights for max control, and feel provides for max forgiveness. The Bombtech black golf wedges are slightly oversized to make even your bad shots look pretty freaking good. And you can feel the weight there, and you can tell, it is a big wedge. Don't get me wrong, even though it's 72 and it's flat as a pancake, it is a big wedge, and you can feel it, and the weight of it, I wouldn't say it's that far off, to be fair. My TaylorMade M4, what is this? The M3 I've got in my hand here. Definitely a little bit bigger though, I'll give it that. Optimal spin, so they say max legal groove depth for increased spin. So obviously they've gone to the maximum level, so this is conforming. Some of these cheaper brands might go further to to actually help increase that spin, which aren't conforming. In this case they are. Are you going to get as much spin as Titleist? No, you will not. But for your average player who's looking at these type of clubs, you're not going to notice. You're not going to be swinging well enough or fast enough to get it to backspin off the green. Fortunately, we're not tool pros because I can't. Maybe once or twice on a really wet day, but rarely do it myself. I just don't have the swing speed for it, to be honest. And then moving on, easy to hit from anywhere. So wedges that are easy to hit from anywhere. The micro milled face is micro milled face as well. Provides for great spin, control, and consistency from fairway or rough. So there you go. There is the technology that I could find from it. Everything you'd hope a wedge would have. So basically grooves and a nice weight. That's pretty much the technology that is in there. But hey, if it works, it works. Now, let's get down to the course, well, to the chipping green, and just watch my failures with it. It wasn't that bad, to be fair. It was a very wet day with it, but yeah, let's just have a look at the results, and I'll talk through my findings while I've been hitting this club. All right, let's get down to the course. Here I am down at the chipping green at Silvermere, which, let's be honest, I should probably spend a little bit more time at. It's definitely one part of my game that I'm really happy at chipping, to be fair, but never practicing in my own time, as a lot of us average golfers do. Happy to hit the range, happy to hit the course, but not spend the time at the practice green here. So definitely something to do more in 2024. Now, getting on to this club, so out of the bunkers, yes, it's very easy to hit. Even on a day like this, where there's a lot, you can actually see the standing water in it, the bunkers are hard, that loft really does help just to pop it out like that. So really happy with that. I really enjoy the weight of this club as well. It makes it easy, especially in this bunker shot where you really got to come down on it quite hard to cut through that wet sand. It makes it a lot easier to do, and also opens up that confidence, with the fact that it's a 72-degree wedge. I know that if I get underneath it, it's going to pop it up nicely, and I know, being that sort of bigger head size as well, it's going to work really well. So overall, definitely very happy. I can see a benefit of a 72-degree wedge coming out the bunker. However, obviously there can be situations where you can blade it very easily, maybe not hitting it hard enough as well because you've got that loft. I definitely think sort of your more higher handicap should just stick with that 56-degree wedge personally, because it's definitely enough loft to get out of a bunker like this. Moving on to the chipping now, again, chipping, pops it up really nicely. Like I mentioned, really happy with the weight of the club, happy with the size, being that sort of bigger head, it does inspire sort of confidence at the ball, even at this 72 degree. The fact that, it is just just a spoon. However, as I just did there, you can get underneath it. It can just go straight underneath it and it's not going to go anywhere. And also, you need to have the confidence with this type of club to really go for it because of that loft. Because if not, the ball's just going to go in the air and not really get to where it needs to go. So you need that confidence to really go for it, to really get that sort of distance. And then the problem with that, if you're again a higher handicap player or somebody's not quite confident with chipping, then suddenly it makes it a lot harder. You could be blading it over it because you have to really go for it and you're not making good contact, or you could fat it and again not have it go anywhere. So this is personally why I prefer doing my 50 degree, because it just means I don't have to go for it. I can do that sort of more bump and run chip, and also I'm not likely to go underneath it like I would with something this lofted. So personally for me, my 50 degree gap wedge is lovely. However, I can see, someone who does strike the ball really well, who does chip really well, the benefits of a 72 degree wedge just means you don't have to open it up if you want those flop shots, something that's really, when you're in the rough and you're right by the pin and you just want it to go up and down. There is that benefit there with it. However, you do have another issue as well like that, where you can just blade it over. And also, again, yes, great out the bunkers. Yes, I can see the reasons for it for chipping. But what about on the full? So here's a full shot that's about sort of, I'd say 50, 60 yards. And you can see just gone straight underneath it and gone in the water. So not great on the full. So there you go. I did not make it over the water. I mean, I don't know why, to be honest, I even tried. Took this down to range. I was averaging 43 yards with it. I mean, it was literally just flop, 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 flop. And I think it's about 60 yards to make that water. And yeah, I mean, you could see I actually got straight underneath it as well. So I don't even think it went 43 yards. I think it probably went about 30. So straight underneath it, just went up and boom. No real power underneath it either, because I just didn't make contact with it. Barely felt I even hit a golf ball, to be fair. Potentially that is an issue with a 72 degree wedge. Just go straight underneath that thing and your ball's not going to go anywhere. You'll look good, just won't go anywhere. So let's get into the ACS golf scale before I say my sort of overall thoughts about this wedge and the idea of if we should be playing a 72 degree wedge. So remember, we've got distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. When it comes down to distance, the whole point with these sort of wedges, whenever I view a wedge, it's not applicable because you can just change the loft to the distance you want to get it. If your 56 isn't going far enough, change it to a 54. If your 56 is going too far, change to 58. So I never really look at distances when it comes down to wedges. This is 72. It's gone 43 yards. Yeah, I can imagine that's what a 72 degree wedge will go. Feel, it actually felt quite nice. I personally, I like a heavier head. I always have, especially when it comes down to chipping. I don't like things too light. Coming off the face, it felt relatively nice. Felt weirdly quite soft. I don't know if it's the loft and obviously just not being able to hit it as hard as you can. It's just going underneath the ball. But I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by the feel. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, to be honest. Personally, for me, I enjoyed the feel. Now, when it comes down to wedges, it's all about your feel. If you prefer a firmer one or a softer one, etc. So some of you guys might try this wedge and think it feels awful, or some of you, might think it's the best thing in the world. It's definitely preference when it comes down to wedges. That's what I think. And for me, it felt relatively what I'd want my wedge to feel. So yeah, 4 out of 5. It didn't feel too hard. Felt relatively soft, to be fair, which I'm surprised. And it's, with that heavy weight, I did like the swing of it, especially trying to get out of the bunker as well. Looks, 3 out of 5. It's oversized. I like the colouring. Not too sure about that green on the grooves there, but I can definitely get used to it. And also the finish isn't going to last. They do offer some different finishes actually on the website. You can just get the stainless steel one. Probably think would last a little bit better. But overall, not bad. Not bad at all. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Forgiveness. It's a big, heavy wedge. I've given it 4 out of 5. I think the forgiveness is pretty good. How much I can test the forgiveness, let's be honest, with a 72 degree wedge, not a huge amount, because the numbers are, it's not going to go anywhere. You're going straight underneath it. But I didn't feel anything off with it. It is a big, chunky wedge. It's going to offer you some pretty good forgiveness. So yeah, 4 out of 5. I've given it. You know, I never really think about forgiveness when it comes down to wedges because, then I don't know, they're just quite big and chunky and yes. But anyway, 4 out of 5 I've given it. Now on to the price. Now this is where I think this wedge is actually really quite good, and I've given it a 4.5 out of 5. So in the US, so if you wanted to get the 52, the 56, and the 60 degree in the US, all flex. I think this must be wedge flex. I mean, it feels pretty firm to be fair. What's this? Stiff. It was a little bit firmer than the stiff, to be honest. But anyway, I'm assuming it is wedge flex. There you go. Assuming it is wedge flex, but it does feel a little bit stiffer than the. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. You can get a 52, the 56, and the 60 for only $97 in the US at the moment. That's literally, you could get 2 sets of these for one Vokey. It's insane. You could get 2 sets of these for one Vokey. It's it's crazy. It is crazy. Do I think this is as good as a Vokey? No, I do not. 100% I don't. I don't think it's as good as my, you know, this bad boy here. My MG. I don't. It's not going to spin as much. Even though I said the forgiveness is good, it's probably going to get battered up a little bit more. It's not going to maybe last as much. Some of you guys might not like the heavier weight on it, but the finish isn't going to be as good. But for that price, that's insane. And I said the feel. I've enjoyed the feel, so I've given it 4 out of 5. I've enjoyed the. I think it's pretty forgiving, so I've given it 4 out of 5. Looks giving it 3 out of 5. So on paper, you wouldn't say it's necessarily any better, any worse than a Vokey. But I obviously, if you're watching and you play golf, you'll know this isn't going to be as good as a Vokey for control, for the right grind you can get, etc., etc., where you can really dial in that wedge for your swing. This you won't be able to. But again, for the average golfer, do they care? Are they going to be looking at the K grind, the C grind, or whatever Vokey have? Or you just want to pick up a wedge and just hit it? In this case, you can. So yeah, absolute bargain. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Even in the UK at the moment on Amazon, they're £160, which is annoying. It's so much more than US, but still £160. That's the price of one wedge, one standard wedge from a big brand, and you're getting 3. And that's on Amazon. I'm sure they'll have deals where you can even pick them up for even cheaper than that. So I really do think they're good. I mean, the build quality on this as well, to be fair, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, the shaft is, the grip's aligned with the golf club, but it's not off aligned, which is great. The grip is a relatively nice grip. I know the brand. No, I don't know the brand. It is just Bombtech's brand. Sorry, there's a marker on the top that looked like another brand, but it's not. But it's not a bad grip. It's still a nice grip. I didn't pick that up and think, oh my god, that's horrible. It's good. Like I said, the shaft's relatively good, even though it does feel a bit on the stiff side. The weighting of it's nice and heavy. It's great for a beginner golfer. So yeah, price 4.5 out of 5 for these wedges. 52, 56, 60, 160. If you want to go down the route, I don't think I've seen in the UK. Just having a quick another scroll. Yeah, I haven't seen. They do irons for like £215. Irons is a bit different. I might not go for the irons, to be honest. They do a driver and a 3-wood for £175, which I've seen reviews of. The 3-wood is pretty good. Driver, but yeah, I just can't really go wrong with that, can you? That's just insane pricing. But yeah, if you're in America, so I can't see the 66 or the 72 bundle over here in the UK. But if you're watching in America, I will tell you the price right now because I do have it in front of me. £97. So the price of the other 3 wedges. But anyway, again, cheap. So, just to say quickly my overall thoughts about Bombtech. Pretty decent equipment for a really good price, to be fair. I would, if someone said, here's the 52, here's the 56, here's the 60, use them over winter, I don't think I'd be too complaining about it, to be fair. Fair enough. I like the weight of them. Will go the distance I need them to go. Happy days. So yeah, really good stuff. But don't get me wrong, they're not going to be as good as the other clubs. And then you start looking down the route of going, well, hold on, should I be getting this, or should I be going for like an older Vokey, a Vokey SM5, which I can pick up second, especially in the UK. You can pick up 3 of them for under £60 easily. If you get good grooves on them as well, it probably will perform better than this. It will. And maybe definitely more spin. And I know it says max grooves, but in the rain, is it going to perform as well as it did the other day? I don't know. But anyway, overall though, pretty good company. To be fair, Bombtech. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever played some Bombtech stuff. Really be interested to know. Now, on to the other point of this video. Should you be playing? I've really just waffled on then about that. But anyway, should you play a 72-degree wedge if you are a golfer? Well, I personally, and I'm going to say this, I don't think so. You only get 14 clubs in your bag. You're naturally going to be having issues with gapping and everything like that anyway. Do you want to be sacrificing another club to, well, put this 72 in the bag? I don't know. And the thing is, as well, is you're a really good golfer anyway. You're going to be able to just open up that club face and then use that and then get that lofted to 72 easily. So I personally don't think you should, being this is standard as well. I remember seeing something about, beginner golfers shouldn't have a 60-degree lob wedge. 56 should be the most that they have, just because, when you're loft, lower loft, is your friend when you're a beginner golfer. If you're going a 72, you could blade it a lot easier. You can just go straight under that ball. It's not going to go anywhere. It does get difficult. Same in the sand. If you don't hit it right, boom, you bladed it. However, it's a difficult one because out of the sand, it was really easy to hit. Don't get me wrong, it didn't go anywhere because I'm personally not used to the 72. I normally just use my 60. I don't really open up the club face, can get it out, especially on a day like the day I tested this one is really wet sand, just chunked it out. But I can see the appeal for average golfers, who do struggle to get out on the sand, who just want a club. They don't have to think about opening up the club face. You can just go up to it like normal and just hit it. I do see the appeal of that. And if you don't have a gapping problem, like some people might do, or, you don't hold all your clubs anyway and you've got space, then yeah, potentially I can see it in the bag. But generally, I think if you're a beginner golfer, stop at the 56. Don't be going too lofted and getting life a lot more complicated because they are quite hard to hit. And if you're a better golfer, you'll be able to open that club face up. But, if you struggle to get out of the sand all the time, especially if you're in America, why not spend, under $100 and give it a go? If it gets you out of the sand every single time, and that's the only reason you use it, is it the end of the day, end of the world? No, not at all. Because it might save you score, because I know lots of people who get stuck in the sand you play with. I mean, I used to, probably still do it myself, to be honest, every now and again, and then suddenly you're losing 2-3 shots in there and it's not fun. But there you go. So, overall, do I think we should put a 72-degree club in our bags? No, I do not. However, I do understand that potentially it can help you, especially out of those bunkers, if you really, really do struggle. But make sure you do have space for it in your bag. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Do give it a like if you did. Comment down below, would you play a 72-degree wedge? Would you be able to hit it, or would you be blading it left, right and centre? Or would you just stick with a 60 or a 56? Keep life less complicated. Do let me know in the comments down below. And also remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on weekly ACS golf reviews. God, I can't get my, I was going to say numbers out today. Can't get my words out today. All right, guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS golf review. See you then. Bye-bye.